What's up, world? Uh, so I'm coming at you with what I think is going to be one of my new series, which is chewing the fat. So literally just talking. It's going to give me a chance to sort of talk about the things that I thought were important this week. Politically, socially, pop culturally, and whatnot, and just fill you in. So this will be the first video in that series, and we'll see how it does. Just as a note, I don't have professional lighting at all. I am really a newbie at this, and so I ask that people bear with me as I try to get this thing together. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the coffee maker on, go ahead and make myself a cup of coffee, and then I will come back and we will begin the chit chat. Okay, so I just had an epiphany. And it's great because I bought this notebook so I could start like writing down ideas and stuff, and I'm thinking, what could I call this segment? Like, what is it going to be called? So what came to mind was tea with my coffee. So we're going to rock with that for now unless I find something better. The coffee's almost done brewing. It is working its way through. So what I'll do is, sound like it's at the end. Ooh, that's a really unattractive noise. So I'm going to give you a sneak preview of the topics. Let me pour the coffee out because it sounds like it's ready, and then we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, I have the coffee. Let me get myself situated here. And we will go ahead and get started. So, first episode of Tea with My Coffee. The topics are going to be the last presidential debate, obviously. An amazing book that I read for a book club that I'm having the book club meeting on tomorrow called The Fire This Time. Childish Gambino, we'll talk about why. And then a little thing I'm going to call Tales from Target, and I'll explain. So, how about we get started with the debate? So, let me explain how real this whole political process has been for me. I had a conference call on whatever day the debate was at 7 o'clock for the Brooklyn NAACP. And I was like, sorry guys, like, I'm not going to be able to make it. I need to get home to be in position, like food, TV, tablet, whatever, ready to watch this debate. So while I was on the train on my way from work, I preemptively ordered Chinese food because I had a feeling that I would feel like crap after this debate. And, you know, you just got to go with your instincts. You get to an age where you know yourself. And I was right. So initially let me back up. I received an email from Grubhub asking about different things in the debate and if they were going to happen, like handshake, mention of the email, stuff like that. It was super cute, and it was like kind of like those debate drinking games and stuff. So I was like, let's see. But anyway, so I sort of turned it on thinking about those things. And so when they didn't shake hands initially, I was like, boom, there's that. But I thought for the first part of the debate, I was actually a little nervous because I thought that Trump handled himself very well. Like, in a way that I was like, he's trying to get more voters. Like, really had me nervous. But you know, in true Trump fashion, his claws came out. Those grubby little nasty sexual assault claws came right out. So I'm glad that he flubbed it because the world does not need a Trump president. If you don't like it, that's okay. So yeah, initially I was like, okay, Trump, I see you. He still wasn't talking about anything. Like whenever he answers a question about policy, he never talks about what his true position is or what he's going to do. He just like talks in circles. And so I honestly don't understand how people can vote for him. Like what does he stand for? Do you know? I damn sure don't. So I thought that was interesting. But his demeanor, like he was like, it was like he cut his cocaine with his Xanax. Like he was like, well, okay, Trump, I see you. But then it got feisty, and we got the wrong. No, you're a puppet. Like I was literally laughing out loud. You should not laugh at the political process. Like, it's almost embarrassing. And I posted on Instagram a picture of Hillary with her look, her like, like, come on, like, you just lying look, which was classic. I feel bad. I feel bad that as the first woman, the first candidate for president aside from Shirley Chisholm, because let's not forget, that she has to go up against this buffoon who, so it almost feels like they're not going toe to toe on policy. Like, she's just really trying to tamp down this clown who thinks he's going to be president. Like, it's terrible. And I feel bad for her because of that. But I thought she handled herself well nonetheless. And you have a sense of what Hillary's going to do and what her policies are. Even if you don't like them, like, you know what they are. And so, here comes the election. All I can say is people need to go out there and vote. Bad hombres and nasty women included. Like, go out and vote, please. And then also, like, I want to challenge people to look up who your senator is and who your your representative is for the House of Representatives. Are they incumbents? Are they up for election again? Like, because we get so focused on the presidential debates, and yet we have these other people, the ones who are like, really coming up with bills in legislature, and nobody knows who those people are. Nobody cares if they stay in the seat for 40, 50 years, and that's the real tragedy. So not only should you vote on November 8th, but you should also look up who your local representatives are, who's your senator, who represents your congressional district. Figure out what they stand for. Are you voting for them again? Are you just going down the ticket because that's what you're used to doing? Like, figure all that stuff out. Really be informed voters, because that's really, really crucial to this whole process. Otherwise, we don't need to have it. So do that, please. So that's that. I mean, I could talk forever about that whole thing because it's shenanigans. It's absolutely bonkers. It's bonkers. So that's that. Go vote. Look up your senator, your House of Representatives person. And if you have local elections that day too, who's your city council member? Like, are they doing what you want them to do, what you need them to do? Do you have children? Who's on your school board? Like, all of these things are super crucial. And yes, the president is very important. Everybody should be informed, but we need to be informed all the way around. So please, let's do better. Yes, coffee giving me life. Okay, the next topic. The Fire This Time by Jasmine, her ward. This is a library book. Support your local libraries too. This book was amazing. There were a lot of different pieces in here, and so many of them touched me. Like, just a great book. So it says a new generation speaks about race. If you have not, if you haven't seen it, if you haven't read it, please do so. It is phenomenal. There were a couple of really, really good stories. A lot of stories in here that touched me. One of the ones that I thought was really good was the one about Phyllis Wheatley and like who's controlling the narrative of Phyllis Wheatley and her relationship with her husband. I thought that was really good because I think, unfortunately, Black historical figures, a lot of times, who they are and what they've done and how they lived is not told from their perspective. It's told from the perspective of an outsider, and a lot of times that outsider is not a person of color. So, like, the way that Phyllis Wheatley's husband was characterized by the historians who were writing about him seems very different from the way that the woman who wrote that piece in this book would characterize her. So, like, just things like that. I thought that was awesome. And then there was one piece called Lonely in America. And there was a line from it that so spoke to my soul. So I'm going to read it to you. If you do get the book, it's on page 40, that first full paragraph. It says, "This is when I realized my loneliness had deeper roots than I had initially suspected. And that in addition to personal disappointments, it came from having a profound sense of disconnection from what I thought America was and who, in that context, I knew myself to be." Like, thinking about all the crap that's been going on, with the recording of the police shootings, Trump's statements about the African Americans and making America great again and all this crap, like, it's amazing. So many times I feel like my soul, like deep within inside me, those pieces of people past that are connected to me and the things they fought for, the things they went through, going through the Middle Passage, all that stuff, that when they, through my eyes, see what's going on in the world, that they hurt. And so I hurt. It's like, so that line spoke to me in such a way. And then there was a story in here as well about walking while black. That whole one. It's called Black and Blue by Garnett Cadigan. Probably Cadigan. I could read that again. Actually, I might before tomorrow because I'm going to have to take this book back. But talked about walking while black and the different experiences that he had and how he had never thought about what it meant to walk while black growing up in Kingston, Jamaica, but that going to New Orleans and living in New York, it was different. Like, so many of the experiences he had just while walking, like, it was amazing. Sad and heartbreaking, but like also eye-opening, It was a good story as well. Yeah, then I have another page dog-eared, but I couldn't tell you why. Oh, yes, I can. So this was a story about a couple who were walking over this old bridge in New York. But the line that got me read. So it was a couple of parts. They get to this park called Highbridge Park. And their 3-year-old that they were with refused to go down the 100 stairs to the bridge. Okay, so I'm going to read what it says. It says, "There he refused to descend the 100 stairs to the bridge by flinging himself onto the asphalt with his arms and legs bent in the style of a swastika, not 5 feet from a dead rat. The kid's defiance bothered us for all the usual reasons a parent should find it irksome, but also because if allowed to incubate in the ghetto where we live, that defiance could get him killed." It reminds me, so back when I was in college and reading different works as an African American Studies major, a lot of conversations came up, and even currently still, about the way people of color and black people in particular discipline their children and why they do so in the way that they do. And the conversation revolved around this idea that black parents discipline their children in a way to keep them in line so that when they're outside of the house, they are safe. Like, letting them know, like, you cannot do that. That is unacceptable. Just like they said here, like, that defiance could get that boy killed in the real world. Like, it was crazy. That line, I was like, whoo, my God. Okay, so that's that. The Fire This Time. If you have not read it, if you have not seen it, get it. It was amazing. I really, really, really enjoyed it. Okay, next topic. Childish Gambino. So your girl's behind, right? Your girl's real behind. Don't judge me. My music sort of affinities are in a very small box in terms of stuff that I know. And I've heard of the name and didn't realize that he's Donald Glover. And so I saw that first episode of Atlanta. And then if you watch Awkward Black Girl, when White Jay took Jay to the Donald Glover concert, like, just stuff like that. I didn't put 2 and 2 together, right? When she went to that concert in the YouTube series, I didn't think, oh, I should look this guy up. Like, that wasn't my thing. And I couldn't have told you a song that Childish Gambino sang. None of that. So I don't know what brought it to my attention yesterday, but I started listening to some of his stuff on Spotify, and yes, very yes, sir. Like, very yes. So I'm going to explore that and, see who else sort of like him I could expand to enjoy. So I think that'll be good too. So I wanted to talk about that very briefly. And then the last thing is something I'm going to call Tales from Target. So I went to Target last night after work for initially two things. One of those like sponge block nail files and a cuticle cutter. Didn't get either of those because that's what happens at Target. But thankfully I didn't spend that much money. But I walked around. I spoke to my best friend to sort of just recap the week. And it was nice. I did get some things that I think were worth it. But it was good. So from now on, if I notice things in Target, or if my time in Target yields something that I can talk about, that's what's going to be in my Tales from Target segment. All right, so that's it. I still got plenty of coffee, but those were the 4 topics I wanted to touch on today. If people have suggestions of things that I could talk about during tea with my coffee, then that would be awesome. It'll probably be something that I do sometime over the weekend, either Saturday or Sunday, because my week will have gone by and I'll have stuff to talk about. So if people ever have topics or want to know my opinion on things, let me know and I can talk about it. Okay? I hope you enjoyed. I'm really like brand new, fresh out the vag with this whole YouTube thing. And so like my lighting is kind of crazy. You should see what I have behind this tablet. I record on my tablet, but you got to start somewhere. So this is me starting, and this is me starting somewhere. And if you're interested in being on this journey with me, because I am so miscellaneously random that it is not even funny, but please stay on the journey with me and we'll see together where this thing goes. But otherwise, have a fabulous weekend. Stay in, have yourself a good cup of coffee, and we'll talk next week.